Hello and welcome to the Claret and Blue Cup. Oh, I can't even speak. Oh, terrible start. Oh no. Hello. Welcome to the Claret and Blue podcast. Oh, it's going to be a long day, let me tell you, John Townley. We're doing a quick transfer update. We're literally going to be live for the next 15 or 20 minutes. If you're listening to this on the Spotify feed or the Apple podcast feed, this is for the here and now. It's 4:11 a.m. Just a kind of quick deadline day check-in. We are doing a bumper 3-hour live stream this evening. So I'm going to go and rest my voice after this if I can't talk, because I'm going to need it later, where we're going to look at the window as a whole, deadline day as it unfolds. We're going to answer some questions, familiar faces, Dan Bardell, Max Stokes, Matt Lynch, John, Matt, myself will all be dipping in and out to chat transfer. So please do come back later on for the proper show. This morning is just John, an update. Where are we? What's happening? What does today potentially look like? Yeah. Sancho, Lindelof, and Harvey Elliott are the three players that look not likely, because Elliott's less so, but Sancho and Lindelof seem more so. Let's get Lindelof out the way, shall we?
Yeah.
That's going to happen, isn't it? A free transfer, not exciting whatsoever, but hopefully will do a job when required.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that should be announced at any sort of stage now, really. That's done. Or at least he's had his medical. Obviously, he has to sign his contract, and Villa will announce that once he does so. Yeah, a player who will add experience and, well, importantly, depth to the team. Villa, as we know, are under huge restrictions. So to get a free transfer of a player who played for Man United for 8 years, won a couple of trophies there, 284 appearances, there's not too much that you can kind of complain about here. It's a free transfer at the end of the day. Yes, Villa would rather spend £20 million on Cambot or get Geertruida in, but for different reasons, mainly financial. Lindelof will be the player that comes in to add defensive cover, because it's needed as well. Villa, already this season we've had a game without Konsa. There'll be matches during the campaign where we're without other players as well. So depth, as we know from the second half of last season, really important. You do need quality and depth, so Lindelof will have something to prove, I think, not necessarily at the top of his game in the last couple of years, you'd say, but equally a player who brings experience, Sweden international. As I say, I don't think it's a terrible signing by all means. Ultimately, it's a free transfer.
Yeah, and that's that for now, as far as I'm concerned for him. He will be announced at some point today, we expect. Sancho, let's talk about him a little bit. First of all, wages. We've spent a lot of the summer trying to get the wage bill down. We all know that Jadon Sancho is on a lot of money. The percentage... Oh, Dan Bardell, you've gone and done it. I like your little beard, John. Yeah, so do I. The 80% of Jadon Sancho's wages seems to be the line that is doing the rounds as of the last few minutes, which to me sounds like a lot. However, from what I've heard and what we've looked into, he is not on £300,000 a week at Manchester United. He's on 200,000. So 80% of that is still quite a lot. If the deal is Martinez leaves, he's on more. So from a squad cost perspective, he's on smaller wages than Emi Martinez. But I wouldn't be expecting us to pay 150, 160,000 to Jadon Sancho. If it is that does seem quite a lot, and that comes with its own pressure. It sounds like a straight loan, no option, no obligation, nothing, literally just for this season, which I've said before, I don't particularly mind that. It is very short term, but we're in a very short term position. Get us through this season. I'm not bothered about the next 3 years. Get us through. You know what I mean? Like, do something now. So that's the case, and it injects a bit of a spark. He's played with Maatsen, played with Marlon at Dortmund. If they can find something, and Sancho's got a point to prove, that 160, 170,000 will be worth it. It just remains to be seen. Can he do that? Can he find that spark again?
Yeah, if Sancho helps us win the Europa League, then brilliant. Job done. I think that's the kind of simple way of looking at it, especially now and after last night. But I think I mentioned earlier in the summer, this wasn't information or anything that Villa would, wanted to look at Sancho, but it screams to me, even at that stage, well, what are Villa doing at the moment? They tend to be bringing in players who need kind of a kick at the backside, really, and a fresh start. And where we saw Rashford came in and had that. What we need Sancho to do is to approach this loan with the same attitude as what Rashford did. And Rashford's ultimate goal was just to get a move to Barcelona. That's what he wanted.
And if Sancho does the same, so be it, as long as he's good for us.
Yeah. And that's kind of the key point. And we need these players to be receptive, right, to what Unai Emery wants from them. Sorry, I was checking something. And for that reason, I can't say I'm excited by it, but at the same time, it's maybe an opportunity for Villa to bring out the best in a player who clearly has talent, or had talent that he showed in the Bundesliga, in the Premier League. He hasn't really shown it, and that's a concern of mine. But at the same time, it's a loan, and the key thing is that Villa won't be doing anything to put themselves in danger of, not meeting the requirements which UEFA have asked them to do, and the Premier League as well. So we're not going to be signing players to then out of European competitions, put it that way. So everything's going to be in. But no, I can understand some fans kind of being concerned about it. Is this really a player that will make an impact for Villa? But I think we've got to understand that we've clearly been scrambling around, and if we can get Sancho anywhere near the level that he showed for Dortmund, especially before he went to United, then it's a player that's worth bringing into the club. So yeah, again, only if it's only for a season. It's a body. We need bodies. It's pretty simple. We can have a look for depth. You look at what we had on the bench yesterday. It was Emi Buendia, and Emi Buendia could leave in a couple of hours. So we need bodies. The quality is another point, and Sancho definitely has it. It's just about getting it out of him now. And I think, to be honest, a lot of that will be up to him.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a comment here from Phil who says, signing a guy that misses training session after training session will work out well. I was speaking to Matt Law a little bit this morning, obviously covers Chelsea and watches loads of Chelsea for obvious reasons. Mm-hmm. He actually thinks this is a good, not necessarily a good deal from a financial point of view, forget that for 1 minute, but as a player, got an unfair rap pretty much at Chelsea, played in a lot of games last year in a club that finished fourth, in a club that won a European trophy, although not a great one, they still won it. And did work hard and did have a good attitude, didn't cause problems, wasn't a disruptive influence in the dressing room. So I think he has got a bit of a bad rap, and rightly so. Not done well at Manchester United. These things aren't. There's no smoke without fire. However, it's not a lazy player who's here for the money and doesn't really care. He's got to kind of come and rekindle his career. Really, it's not worked out at Man United. It's not necessarily worked out at Chelsea. The outside narrative of Chelsea was, I don't know whether you remember, John, they paid to not take up the obligation, and that was seen as Chelsea are paying money to get rid of him. He's that bad. Mm-hmm. Chelsea offered him a contract, or were wanting to offer him a contract of half of his wages, so $100,000 a week, and that wasn't doable. So he had to go back to Man United. They couldn't do the obligation because they didn't want to. He didn't want to accept Chelsea's offer, basically, and there became a deadline of well, you have to give him back. So to give him back, you have to pay. So it wasn't that they didn't want him. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I've explained that poorly, I think. But the rap is, he's a bad player. Chelsea didn't want him and paid to get rid of him because he's on too much money. Mm-hmm. He's got to do something. He's 25. It's still a great age to go and have a career somewhere, and that might not be with Villa. And if that's the case, I don't really care. But if you want that career to be at Barcelona or whoever, a la Rashford, you have to do something now with Villa and Emery, and realise the chance you've been given. There's a good manager here that wants you.
Yeah, I think
use it.
I think it's awfully similar to Rashford's situation. I remember not sitting here, but sitting and doing a podcast with you, and we were talking about how I'm excited by it, but at the same time, nearly 70% of the fan base, by memory, was thinking Rashford's. He barely kicked the ball.
That was me.
And that's fine. People had the right to talk like that. But we saw a difference. We saw that Rashford was hungry for it and he wanted to get back in the England team. And the only thing I would say differently is that we've seen Rashford score 30 goals in a Premier League season and has the pace to frighten teams. Sancho does not have pace to frighten teams, and he hasn't scored 30 goals in a Premier League season, but they are obviously two different players. I don't think... I don't know. No, the lights just popped on and I don't know what's going on. I don't think... So I've lost my train of thought there, but... where have we gone with that?
It's more of a risk, right?
4.5 hours of sleep is paying off here on the podcast. Yeah, I just think it's a situation where, again, it's up to Sancho, and ultimately Villa have an opportunity here to get the best out of a player who, at his best, is a good player. But Villa, what have we lacked? We've lacked width, pace. I think runs in behind, that sort of thing. Sancho won't give that. He wants ball to feet, and will be creative, or hopefully creative. So if we can kind of marry up in the last hours of the window are kind of finish our squad building process and Emery has a plan for what this would look like, then okay, we'll have to see what happens. We'll talk about Harvey Elliott in a minute, but certainly those two players are very creative players. I still don't think it fixes some of the issues we've got, but at the same time, with the money that we have or lack of, I don't think we can really fix our problems. And this is something I said actually after the game in my little walking talk, which I don't think anyone would really want to watch now anyway. But essentially saying that even after Monday, do your business, but whatever business Villa do, it's not going to go a long way, I don't think, to fixing all of our problems. What might be the biggest fix of the problem is if Emi Martinez just leaves and we can just start fresh. Transfer window's finished. Everyone is here for the whole season, unless in January, of course, something happens. But that's unlikely, right? Unless we need to do something. Just start fresh in September with the players that we're going to sign today. That's kind of my only bit of optimism, really. And the players that we're going to sign, again, they've proven that they can do it. I think that's the key thing. We're not signing unproven players, are we? We're not signing players from, obviously we signed Morgan Rogers from the Championship, so I don't want to kind of discredit it. But if we were to sign two players from the Championship or players who are lower Premier League players who maybe have the ability to step up, should we say, that's different to what we're doing here. These guys have quality. It's about getting at them.
There's comment there from Dan says, you two and some of my own thoughts have led me to feeling more positive about Sancho.
Really?
If it happens, I'm for it because I have to be, right? Before this, I'd absolutely turn my nose up to Sancho, and even last night on the post-match, I thought, Sancho, really? Ugh, not great, I don't think. There is potential for problem, but speaking to Matt Law this morning, who watched a lot of him last year, I did start to feel slightly differently because I felt that the narrative was Chelsea wanted to bin him off. Chelsea didn't want him. He didn't play particularly well, or he didn't play very often. I think he played 40-odd games for them. And that's Chelsea not 40 starts, but they go through so many players that it's hard to judge what works or what doesn't. Mm-hmm. United is a basket case. I don't judge that at all. He's good at Dortmund. If he can get some of that back, playing with Maatsen, maybe playing with Marlon, maybe they can remember the good old days of the Champions League runners-up and do something at Villa. I don't know. But I felt about it slightly differently this morning than I did before. Any time before, it's a bit like, okay, well, maybe there is something there.
And those feelings will continue to grow when you see him hold up a shirt and then you see him, in training videos and stuff. Those things happen.
Scores the winner against Everton, I'll be all for it.
Exactly. 19 starts in the league last season for Chelsea, 31 appearances in the Premier League. So not a player who was injured last season at any point, actually, I don't think. So that's a positive. Is for a player who apparently has a bad attitude, apparently. And again, we saw what happened with Rashford. That was not the case at all. So hopefully it won't be with Sancho as well. He stayed fit throughout the campaign, and I'm just looking quickly here. He got 4 assists in 3 games in his first 3 Premier League games for Chelsea: Bournemouth, West Ham, and Brighton. All of those were wins for Chelsea as well. So again, a player who can do it. You just hope that he's coming to Villa thinking, I want to make the same impact that Marcus did. And obviously they're close, they're friends. So I'm sure Rashford probably put in a good word. And for Sancho, again, you're hoping that he's now enthusiastic and excited, thinking, you know what, this is a bit of a not a lifeline in my career, because
I think it is that. It's an olive branch, isn't it? I've got another chance that I probably don't deserve.
It's only because he's 25 and he's still got, if he wants it, another 10 years of his career left. But at this point, if you really want to have plans to maybe get in a World Cup team or anything like that, this needs to work for you. If it doesn't work at Villa for Sancho, it's one of those, like we were saying with Rashford, where does he go from here? So for that reason, I'm happy that he's joining. And again, Villa will only do what they can do within their budget. But also, at the same time, he's got everything to prove, right? We can't be here completely excited. But, would I rather see Sancho or not? I'd rather see Sancho.
Yeah. If the option is or not, we're in a pickle. So Sancho's better. That's the level at the moment.
But that's what we're working with here, aren't we? Limited options.
Steve says, what wage will he be on? The reported figure is 80% of his Man United wage, which is 200,000. So that's £160,000 Villa will pay per week, which is still a very sizable fee. But I think, John, and I don't know this for 100% certainty, if Emi Martinez is to leave, he's on more than 160, no?
Martinez is Villa's top earner, I believe. I don't know the exact figure, but yeah, it'll be a lot. Put it this way, I think Rashford was on double what Martinez is on. So whatever Rashford is on, was that 325? Half that.
Wow.
That'll probably get your answer.
Yeah, okay. So Villa are in a wage deficit, Martinez out, Sancho in. If that's what happens, it's still a hell of a lot of money
out as well.
and a risk. But yeah, we've worked hard to get the wage bill down, and then we're giving 160 to Sancho. That sounds mad, but we'd still be kind of in the green for wages, because the ones that have gone out are more than the ones we've got rid of a lot of wages. Then Donker, Coutinho, we're not spending that much on the incomings. Guess on Sancho, Lindelof, maybe a keeper, maybe Harvey Elliott. They're going to be on less wages than everybody that we've got rid of. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Harvey Elliott to wrap up this morning's little check-in. It's a good player, actually. I like Harvey Elliott. God's sake.
Say it like that again.
I like Harvey Elliott. He kind of feels a little bit like, not at a crossroads, a very young player still. But is he going to make it at Liverpool? Don't know. Mm-hmm. He's very good at under 21 level, in the under 21 England squads. When do you take that step up to kind of raise your game to the next level? Mm-hmm. Kind of feels like, if this is a short term, 1 season loan, maybe that doesn't do anything for Villa anyway, and he then goes to, I don't know, Brighton, and that's his new home or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It kind of feels like, okay, it's on me now to take that step up to the next stage of my career. I'm not a kid anymore. I want to go and play every week for somebody. And I think that would be a good fit for Villa if it was to happen, which at this stage it is just we're interested, right?
Yeah, we're looking into it. And this you'd have thought would be a loan again, but maybe there's an option there where Villa can either obligate or just have an option to buy, because Liverpool obviously want to sell the player. And Elliott wants a new chapter as well, which I like, because this is a player who supported Liverpool growing up, was obviously very keen to join them, has had some great years with them, won the Premier League and some different trophies, but he's also thinking about his own future, and said previously in the summer, like, if this means leaving Liverpool, then so be it. And I like that. It's not a player who you look at and think he's just settling to be a part of something. He wants to kind of, it sounds cringe, but write his own future, if that makes sense. And he'll obviously see, working with Emery and the calibre of players that are at Villa, that's an opportunity for him. It's interesting because Sancho feels like, well, if you're not going to Villa, mate, where are you going? Of teams that are, worthy of calling, European challenges or whatever. It feels like that's probably the best option that Sancho has as a quality of football team, right, to join Villa. But Elliott, I think maybe is a little bit different, and it's interesting because obviously Villa, us supporters right now, we're very negative and we're very down because it's been a terrible start to the season and we're all questioning what happens next. But if a player like Elliott can look at the project and be interested, and also, do you know what I'm trying to say? I'm not, I don't want to say the project's off the rails or anything. That isn't what I'm saying here whatsoever. We're still very much in with the chance of this being an incredible campaign. We just need to obviously improve a lot. But we're all being negative. But then if a Liverpool player thinks, and at the age he is 22, like, this is an important move for Elliott in his career. If he thinks, yeah, Villa's the right step for me, then that fills me with a bit more confidence. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like Leipzig obviously were interested in him previously, and as well other teams.
That might be different if it's only a straight loan, by the way. He might just think, well, I'll have 30 odd games for Villa,
even
Europa League. But
even just for this season, I'm talking about, in the future, but just for this season, because again, if you look at Villa, they lost to Brentford, they lost to Palace badly. Martinez wants out. It's a bit of a dark cloud at the moment over us. Like, let's not going to beat around the bush. We can't spend money either. Is that where you want to spend this season of your career? And that is a genuine question now, I think, for some players. Working at Emery and being around the players that we have, fantastic. But is this everything that you'd want it to be? Is it going to be the same as what it was last season at Villa? Let's find out. But a lot of us fans are saying no. But then if a player of Elliott's quality and promise, and again, this is a big move for him. If he makes it to Villa or anywhere, this is going to be a big season for him. It needs to be, really. And if he picks Villa, and if it's something that he's open to doing, then that's that'll be a big positive for me, and a good sign as well of his character too, I'd say. Because going into this Villa team right now, again, I think it's different to what it was maybe a year ago. There's a bit more unknown, I think, about what this season is for Villa. Put it that way.
Maybe some of these players also, and again, we kind of kind of trying to read into the psychology here that we don't know. Maybe they kind of feel like Villa haven't started too well. And how much do the players even pay attention? Does Harvey Elliott know we had a bad start? Do you know what I mean? Like, do they really even care about those kind of things? But do they think now that when Villa were ticking along nicely, they're in the Champions League, they've got a great squad. But if I've got the opportunity to go there, I don't know how much I feature. Whereas now the landscape's changed a bit, Harvey Elliott probably thinks he can come to Villa and play a lot and be a difference maker. And that's maybe attractive to him.
To be fair,
the club doesn't feel so much so.
Yeah, being in the Europa League as well is probably a big carrot too. They'll look at that and think, yeah, Villa can win that competition, and if I can play a key part, that's a big opportunity. So there's obviously excitement there. Elliott as a player, yeah, I like him. Again, similar to Sancho, not quick or a player who's going to beat a man with pace, but someone who can definitely pick a lock. And again, for the promise that he has, if there is an obligation in there that Villa are going to put in, or Liverpool would want, again, we'll see how that goes. Obviously, Paquetá, Villa have clearly kind of shown the hand a little bit. We have money to commit if it's the right deal, should we say? Then, yeah, I'd prefer that. You know, having 2 straight loans is okay, but ultimately, I think it's nice when you have a player in your team that you know that actually they could stay. It keeps them more committed potentially, and it makes them settle easier and better, knowing that, well, I could be here for a few years.
Yeah. Okay, we'll wrap up there, John, for this little episode, because as this episode comes out on Spotify in the next half an hour or so, by the time we do our live stream tonight, Harvey Elliott may not be joining Villa, and I don't want to talk about something that's not going to end up happening. We're interested. We're looking into it. That is as far as it goes, so I'm not going to speculate for another 30 minutes.
Yeah, in the last 20 minutes, Villa are obviously talking to clubs right now, so things are literally changing as we're on air.
Yeah, deadline is in 8 hours. So, we'll be back later. We're doing a live stream at 5 o'clock. I'll be here between 5 and 8-ish with various different guests. So when we know more definitively about what Villa are doing, that will be our show for tonight. I will go away now and rest my voice for a little bit and try and learn to talk again. John, thanks for popping on with me quickly and joining me. Thanks everyone who watched along live. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you later this afternoon. Bye-bye.